U.S. ambassador at risk.
The ambassador is in his safe haven. You're not the first responders. You're the last resort. You will wait.
None of you have to go.
13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi is the true story of 6 elite ex-military operators who fought to defend the American diplomatic compound in Benghazi after a terrorist attack in 2012. Our film critic Richard Crouse joins us now with his review. We're starting right there. What did you think?
Well, the word subtle is never used to describe a Michael Bay movie.
No, it is not.
And so this movie
not.
is no different than a lot of the other Michael Bay movies that have come before it, which means it's big, it's loud, it's filled with bluster. There's not a great deal of story, though. So what you have is something from our very recent past, as you just talked about. And we get the details, and we meet all these CIA contractors. They're played by people like Pablo Schreiber, the Canadian actor. John Krasinski is in here as one of them. And we meet them all, and we learn that they have families stateside and that they all seem to need money, so they've come to Benghazi to work this contract, which is highly paid but dangerous work. But that's about all that we learn about the characters, and no amount of scenes of them Skyping with their loved ones back home or staring lovingly at a picture of a baby is going to really humanize them any more than that. So Michael Bay doesn't spend enough time with the characters so that when all hell breaks loose, when the insurgents attack the compound and then later on the CIA base, we don't really care as much about what happens to these guys. Of course we do, they're heroes, but the movie doesn't set them up in a way that really makes us connect to
Having
them.
said that, how many stars?
2.5 out of 5.
Okay, we're going to go from one side of the spectrum all the way to the other side, because Ice Cube and Kevin Hart are back. Ride Along 2. Ride
Along was so successful. It made a fortune, which meant that there was inevitably going to be a Ride Along 2. And this one picks up shortly after the last one left off. Ice Cube is a seasoned detective for the Atlanta Vice Squad. Kevin Hart is fresh out of the academy. He's been out for about a month. He desperately wants to be a detective, but he just keeps getting in his own way. He just keeps causing problems for himself. They go to Miami, they investigate a hacker. It turns into a much larger kind of case there. Things blow up, there's car chases, all that stuff that you kind of expect from these movies. And lots and lots and lots of Kevin Hart. So
is that a good thing?
Well, your enjoyment of this movie will be directly linked to your enjoyment of Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And I like Kevin Hart.
Okay.
I enjoy Kevin Hart. He makes me laugh. But in this movie, he seemed to me like he was like a Jack Russell Terrier. You know, those dogs that just jump up and down all the time when they're in your lap and they're out of your lap. Yeah, and it becomes kind of annoying after a while.
Yeah.
But, you know, the times that he makes people laugh, the guy sitting next to me across the aisle must be the world's biggest Kevin Hart fan, because he giggled and guffawed throughout the entire thing. I like to see that, because that's why you go to the movies, to have a good time. So I gave it 3 stars for Kevin Hart fans, 2 stars for everybody else.
Right. I love the 2 rating treatment. Okay, last but not least, or maybe least, haven't seen this kind of rating in a while.
Yeah.
Let's deal with Norm of the North, shall we?
Norm of the North is a big, I have to call it an animated film, because it is. But if you call it an animated film, it suggests that it's in the same league as other animated films like Inside Out or Up or something like that. And trust me, they are not. If Inside Out, for instance, is like the Ferrari of animation, Norm of the North is the Edsel. That's how this works. So
we're going into Edsel territory.
We are. Rob Schneider plays a polar bear who lives in the Arctic. When an evil developer comes in and wants to build condos, he has to spring into action to save his Arctic home. And so he goes to New York, and he wants to become the spokesperson for the condo company, because then once he has a public spotlight, he can then tell the world about how this guy is going to come in and ruin their Arctic home. This movie, it doesn't really exist as a story, but more sort of as a vessel to have cute characters, and I'm sure that there must be toys and things that you can buy.
Yeah.
It plays like one long kind of commercial, but movies like this are important to have every now and again, because it reminds us that this one is so bad, it reminds us that the Pixar movies aren't flukes. That people take some time.
Hence the goose egg rating.
Hence the goose egg rating.
Zippo.
Zippo for this one.
All right, Richard Crouse, you're tough. You'll find all of Richard's movie reviews on our website, canadaam.ctvnews.ca.